I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks and include extraneous material on H.R. 221 under consideration. And
Without objection, it is so ordered.
And I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of H.R. 221. I'm a proud original co-sponsor of this bill, and I'm pleased we are considering it today. We passed it with bipartisan, unanimous support in the last Congress, and I'm looking forward to seeing us show that broad support again. In this Congress, we must continue to stand against anti-Semitism. I want to thank my colleagues for their hard work on this effort, Congressman Chris Smith, the author of this legislation, and my fellow co-chairs of the Bipartisan Task Force to Combat Anti-Semitism. I'm proud to stand with a group of legislators committed to fighting intolerance and hatred. Mr. Speaker, we've seen a sickening increase in anti-Semitism over the past few years. Just a few months ago, a gunman stormed a synagogue in Pittsburgh, attacking peaceful congregants and killing 11 people. We've seen people who embrace hatred and bigotry given a loud new megaphone to spread their poison. Across the United States, we've seen an uptick in anti-Semitic language and an increase in threats of violence against Jewish communities. In my home state of New York, NYPD officials have reported an alarming surge of anti-Semitic hate crimes. And every day, more and more alarming anti-Semitic incidents are happening across the world. Holocaust survivors recently assaulted, rallies and parades glorifying Nazi leaders, swastikas graffitied to cause fear and terror, and the list goes on and on. It's appalling, and it demands immediate action. As a country, we need to come together to say enough is enough. We need to confront evil, call it by its name, and say there is no place for it anywhere in the United States or around the world. And we need to do it as citizens. We need to do so in our laws and in our policies. And we need to make sure that we fill the positions that are supposed to be dealing with this issue. The Special Envoy to Combat Anti-Semitism position at the State Department is still vacant, and that's simply unacceptable. We must have a senior official to push back against the intolerance and hatred of anti-Semitism. American leadership is desperately needed in the fight against this ancient form of hatred. I'm sick and tired of foot dragging on filling this critical position. That's why I'm glad we're moving this bill forward. This legislation would elevate the Special Envoy position and require the President to put forward a nominee no more than 120 days after a vacancy. This is essential for making sure that a prolonged vacancy like we have right now never happens again. We must have a senior State Department official dedicated to coordinating U.S. government efforts to combat anti-Semitism abroad. So I strongly support this measure, and I ask my colleagues to join me in doing so. I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman from New York reserves.